The grace and gravity of the loan. A loan is not a gift, and a gift is not a loan. The two may look similar from the outside, one hand extending to another, something passing between them. But what lies beneath is different. A gift is a severing. A loan is a bond. When something is loaned, whether it be money, a tool, a car, or time itself, what's really happening is a quiet agreement. Not just about the object, but about trust. An understanding forms, however loosely spoken. This will return. It will come back. It is not being given away. It is being given over, for a while. And in that difference lies the whole weight of the matter. Loaning something to a friend, or to anyone, carries a double meaning. First, there is the act of generosity. There is compassion, empathy, sometimes even a kind of tenderness. The one who lends says, in effect, I see your need, and I will meet it. Temporarily, but the second meaning is often harder to hold in public view. Ownership, possession, the right of return. The understanding that at a certain point in time, the item or the money or the favor will make its way back. These two meanings, compassion and boundary, don't always sit easily beside one another. Compassion wants to give, help, support. But boundaries say, only for this long, only to this point. When these two are clear and balanced, the loan becomes an act of grace. But when one overwhelms the other, distortion sets in. Either the lender forgets they ever had a right to ask for the return, or the borrower forgets that they agreed to give it. And then the problems begin. The memory of the agreement. Most loans are sealed, not with paperwork, but with voice. I'll get it back to you next month. You'll have it by July 1st. 3 months, I promise. These words are spoken in the air, maybe over a handshake or a nod, maybe with some urgency, maybe even with gratitude. But once the exchange has passed and the pressure of the moment is gone, those words have a tendency to evaporate. The borrower forgets, or chooses to forget, the terms, not necessarily out of malice, but out of avoidance. Because the very memory of the loan can feel heavy, it creates a sense of debt, and most people don't carry debt well. They flinch at it. They dodge it. It becomes a source of guilt or shame, even if it began in grace. And so, instead of honoring the bond, some try to escape it. Not by returning the loan, but by retreating from the relationship. Calls go unanswered. Texts go read, but not replied to. Excuses begin. Life gets busy. There's always something except the one thing that matters most, the fulfillment of the promise. When silence takes the place of integrity, there is a quiet form of betrayal that happens here. Not a loud one, not a violent one, but a betrayal of the unspoken rule. If you say you will return it, you must. Otherwise, it was never a loan. It was a theft, dressed in softer clothing. And the one who lent, who gave without charging interest, without legal formality, feels that betrayal deep in the skin. Not just for the money, or the item, or the energy spent, but for what it says about the bond between two people, about how little the word was worth, about how quickly someone will disappear when the time comes to give something back. The damage, then, is not financial. It is relational. The lender begins to question not only the borrower, but themselves. Was I foolish? Was I too generous? Was I a sucker? Was my kindness wasted? And from there, bitterness has room to grow. Not hatred necessarily, but disappointment of the oldest kind. The kind that makes one feel alone. On integrity and timeliness, there are some who hold to their word like it's the last bit of honor they've got. If they say it, they mean it. If they borrow it, they return it. If they can't make the deadline, they reach out and explain, and do so before the deadline comes. These are rare souls. But when they're found, they're remembered. Because they treat the bond as sacred. They know what's at stake. For them, a loan is a ceremony of sorts, a sacred trust, something not to be muddied or played with. And when they say, I'll pay you back, they don't mean if I can or if I remember. They mean I gave my word. My word is my blood. My name depends on it. This kind of person, though not always the wealthiest, is always rich in spirit. The temptation to become hard. After being let down, there is a natural temptation, become less generous. Lock the doors. Stop lending. Stop helping. Stop saying yes. If kindness leads to loss, why be kind? Why keep offering? It's a reasonable question, and many do grow hard. They begin to say no to everyone, including those who would have kept their word. They cut off the flow entirely. The well is capped, and that is, in a sense, another tragedy, because one person's failure has now made the world colder for someone else. But there is another way. The other way is clarity. Not less kindness, but clearer terms. Not less generosity, but stronger boundaries. Before the loan is made, the terms are written. Spoken again, clearly, followed up in writing if needed. This is not a gift. This is a loan. The amount is this. The return date is that. Not because of mistrust, but because of respect for the relationship. It takes strength to say this. It may feel cold, even transactional, but it protects both parties. And if the borrower truly respects the relationship, they won't resent the clarity. They'll welcome it. When repayment never comes, and still, sometimes, even with all the clarity, the return never happens. At that point, a decision must be made. Some choose to pursue repayment, legally or socially, to call it out, to apply pressure that is valid, especially if the loss threatens survival or stability. Others choose to let it go, to cut the tie and grieve the cost, not just the money, but the bond that was broken. To say, this person showed me who they are, and that's worth something. It's a form of loss, but it is also a form of sight. And sometimes seeing clearly is worth the price. Either way, the lesson stands. When something is loaned, something far more than money is exchanged. There is risk, there is vulnerability, there is hope, and there is always the chance that the object may return, but the trust may not. Final thoughts. Lending to a friend is one of the oldest acts of belief. It says, I believe you will do the right thing. I trust your name. I trust your heart. But if that trust is broken, it cannot be bought back cheaply. It must be earned again, with time, effort, and truth. A loan is a form of faith, and when the loan fails, it is not just the object that is lost. It is the echo of a belief that once lived between two people. In the end, to lend is to risk, but to live without lending, to live without trusting, is to die in a safer cage. And some hearts are not meant for cages.